BRB Blazer.
All right, we jump into the next guy right here. Kind of his replacement for the Atlanta Falcons. You got Hayden Hurst.
Go ahead, T.
I do like Hayden Hurst. I think this guy's going to be a name that obviously probably a lot of people don't know about, because he hasn't really done much over there with the Ravens. Obviously, not the most pass-happy team, and then you got Mark Andrews right there. But don't forget that Hayden Hurst 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was, he was the number 1 tight end drafted in the draft, the only tight end to go in the first round of the NFL draft. I mean, the measurables compared to him and Austin Hooper are like the same, like height-wise, 40-wise, it's all the same across the board. And just the one thing I like about him is kind of you're saying how you didn't like Hooper because, he's going from one offense, the Falcons, to the Browns offense now. But now you're throwing Hurst in there to kind of just slide right in to play that Hooper role. I mean, like I just said, the last 2 years, Hooper finished as the tight end 6, 70-plus receptions, 650-plus receiving yards for Hooper in both those years. And that, like I said, this is one of the most happiest offenses right here. So, I mean, Austin Hooper got 88 targets and 97 targets. So I'm thinking Hayden Hurst can kind of slide in and get around 90 targets and be that Austin Hooper 2.0 right here. And, even 90 targets is still a lot for a tight end. And that was still with the wide receivers as a whole, seeing 400 total targets. I mean, Calvin Ridley, I think we're all pretty hyped on Calvin Ridley to have a boom year here and explode. But Calvin Ridley's had 90-plus targets in all those years as well. So he's still getting his. I just love Hayden Hurst. I think he's going to be one of these sleeper guys where he comes out of nowhere, where he's going to go undrafted in a lot of leagues. And, after week 1, on waiver wire, he's going to be a guy who's over 50% available, but he came out and had some crazy game, like 5 catches, 86 yards on a touchdown. And people are going to be like, oh, who's Hayden Hurst? And it's going to be like, yo, we've been telling you about Hayden Hurst since May or June.
Or April. I love it.
Or March.
You're selling me, dude. I want every bit of Hayden Hurst now.
Yeah, so Hayden Hurst, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I like to look at negatives and positives. The negative, he was the 3rd string tight end on his team, so he basically couldn't beat out the other 2 tight ends who were drafted behind him. So I don't look at him as a first-round talent anymore because you basically weren't on the field. Yeah. So I just I don't really care where you're drafted and what your measurables are. I care about what you do on the field. With that said, opportunity is there. So now, I kind of think I'm a little bit lower on him, and I do kind of want to move into my top 12. I'd rather actually, in the PPR, I'd probably rather go him over Jared Cook. In a standard, I'd rather flip those, maybe go Jared Cook. But with that said, I mean, I don't think he's going to reach that 190 target mark. I'm kind of seeing him more in the 80-ish to 75. Now it comes down to what does he do with it? Is he efficient with it? Is he not efficient to it? That's where I think it's going to make or break his season. If he's efficient with it, I think he's going to be a hands down top 12 tight end. If he's inefficient with it, I think he's going to be looking more in the. I think he's pretty much still almost a top 15 based just off of volume alone. But if he's inefficient with it, you could see some games where it's that tight end. But like I said, it does come down to him at this point because the opportunity is 100% there. Atlanta will use a tight end. Julio Jones is going to get him. I'm probably extra moist for Calvin Ridley this year. But he still has a lot of opportunity. I'd actually take him over Hooper, who was, his replacement going to Cleveland. I'd actually take Hayden Hurst over Hooper if I had to choose between the two. So opportunity is there. It just comes down to him. Like, is he going to do it? And if he does, he's going to be a solid tight end this year. If he doesn't, you could drop him.
Yeah.
And pick up another one.
I mean, one thing I could say, you're saying he was kind of like the 3rd string tight end for his team. I mean, maybe he just didn't fit that offensive scheme kind of better, as good as. I mean, obviously, we see how good Mark Andrews is. I mean, we all have him top 5. And, and obviously, Mark Andrews, he looks like one of the better young tight ends in the league coming up. Yeah. But it's just weird. I don't know, randomly while I think maybe I was on Instagram or something, but I was scrolling and I think they're talking about mental awareness and stuff like that, mental health awareness and stuff like that. And Hayden Hurst came out and said something how he struggled with a lot of mental health issues, but he kept it to himself. He didn't really want to say anything like that. Kind of makes me think of Kevin Love almost. He came out and said a lot of mental health things, like people, they keep it to themselves. They've been battling with themselves. So he was actually saying how he went to go get help for that, and he feels a lot better personally. And he said it was kind of stunning his confidence, so to go out there and play. So I mean, maybe I think I'm one of the I don't want to say I'm one of the only people, but I do honestly really think of the mental aspect of being out there on the football field and what you're going through in your personal life. If my personal life I'm not at my best, how can I go out on the football field and perform to my top ability?
It's always on your mind.
We'll see if maybe he obviously, like I said, he personally came out and said he's got some help mentally and he feels the best that he's felt since he's been in the league. We'll see if that happens. I mean, Dre, what do you feel about him?
I mean, I don't like him as much as you guys do, but I do. I mean, as a football player, I mean, I know this is fantasy, but I think this is like a whole change as far as also for the Ravens, where they're maybe going away from the 2 tight ends because he's a good blocker. Also, it's just a case of there's just someone that's a lot better than him, so they had to ship him off. And I like that the Falcons traded for him. I always just like when teams trade to get players. That means that they want to utilize him, and their backup isn't that great. He played a little bit last year. I forgot his name, the dude with the long hair. I know I should know his name talking about it, but
For the Falcons or for?
yeah, the dude who played when Hooper got hurt. He did okay,
It was
but
Logan Paulson and Eric Subert.
Hurst is a better athlete. I mean, he's a bigger body. They did need help on the O-line. So like I said, he is a good blocker, so he can do that for him, but I mean, he's gonna get the opportunity, and he doesn't have as much tread, on his tires per se, as far as like being on the field because of Andrew. So he's still fresh. I mean, he was an older rookie. I want to say he was like 24 when he got drafted, 23 or 24. So 26 with not that much tread. I think he's still pretty fresh, and he's going to a situation where he's wanted, and there's a lot of opportunity. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he's top 10. Like he could be he could be like the Darren Waller of this year, like the guy who comes out of nowhere and kind of does his thing.
I think what it is, I've just followed him since his rookie year coming in, and I thought that he would be the tight end to emerge in Baltimore. Obviously, Andrews kind of came out.
South Carolina,
right? Yeah. But I don't know. I think I'm probably going to be really high on this guy compared to a lot of people, and I think he's going to be a guy, like I said, where he goes undrafted, or you're getting him in like the 12th, 13th round because people don't really know who Hayden Hurst is and whatnot. But I think he's going to slide right into that Austin Hooper role, and he's going to put up really similar numbers compared to what Austin Hooper was. And like I said, that's still with Julio Jones eating and Calvin Ridley eating over there as well. I mean, you guys want to do like a beer bet?
I was just about to I was gonna say 70,
maybe
70 catches. Does he
I'm
have more
thinking
than
like
Waller?
overall, like I was gonna say personally, I was gonna say Hurst will finish better than Higbee.
Hurst better than Higbee. I mean,
I'll
I'll do that. I'll beer bet you for the sake.
It could happen.
No, we could do that.
Yeah.
You want to? I mean,
Just because you guys both had Higbee ranked, I didn't. And,
okay.
I was like the contrarian.
It wouldn't
on
surprise
Higbee,
me if
and
he finished.
okay, then we got to do one
Higbee,
where someone would mind. How about? Do you think Hayden Hurst can do better than? I mean, if you said Hunter Henry, that wouldn't really matter. Evan Ingram,
Where did I have Hayden Hurst at, Mike?
like
2.
7. I had him at 7. All right.
Never win in his
You
heart.
can say
Though.
that. All right. Well, just maybe let's say this. I think Hayden Hurst will be a top 8 tight end.
Well, okay, actually, perfect. Darren Waller, look, you have him higher. You want to do Darren Waller?
I guess. Fuck it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. If he said no, it would have been like shit. I mean, 70 catches? We could do that. You want to do who has more catches?
I was gonna say Hayden Hurst will finish as a top 8 tight end. Is that one more?
Okay, we could. All right, that's fine. Because I mean, you're the only one that had him, and on top of that, you had him at 7. So I mean, we could do that top 8 for the sake of
it's
sakeness.
really possible.
Kevin Garnett will tell
he
you
could
anything
easily
is
get
possible.
85 targets. He scores 5 touchdowns. He's probably a top 8 tight end.
Well, you're right.
Like
but-
I said, it comes down to him.
Yeah.
I said I don't know if I believe in the talent yet, but it could be there, and the opportunity is there. So it's 100%. Like I'm not going to argue it.
For sure.
all right, well,
maybe
I'll
we'll
bet
save
you.
it. We'll save
I'll
it.
bet you, T.
All right.
Man, that clip was informative, huh? Well, there's plenty more right here if you click that. Also, go ahead and subscribe right there.